Hi friends, thanks for joining me. I'm going to show you how to make a pysanky egg just like you saw in Chicken Sunday in that book. I can't show you how to do it on a real egg because that would take a lot of special equipment. If you watched the lady in the video making real ones, they're so beautiful. But we're going to make a paper one. And I know you all have different things in your house, so I'm going to show you a lot of different ways to get started. If you just can't find any paper at all and you want something stiff, you can go into your kitchen and you might be able to find something like this is an old box. And I cut it on one side. If you open it up, you can get a good stiff piece of paper. You could get an egg out of that. Or this is a box, a cookie box that somebody gave me. The cookies were delicious. And the inside is perfect. Can you see how if you wanted to cut an egg out of that, you could get a nice stiff piece of paper out of this leftover trash. So if you want to do that, you can look in your kitchen for it. Some other ideas are just regular paper. If you have this at your house, plain paper, if your mom or dad have a printer, or your big brother or sister, you can use regular paper. I'm going to start by showing you if you just have a journal, and I hope everybody has a journal, something to write in. You can use this. This one used to belong to our friend Anastasia before she left. So just find a clean, easy page to use. And I'll show you a way to do it so that you can just free draw an egg with your hand. So I'm going to find a blank page. I'm going to put my hand down because we want a big egg. And I'm going to use the easiest tool of all. It's just a pen I have in my house. Make a dot at the top of your finger. Make a dot on the side by your thumb. Make another dot on the other side. Keep them kind of far apart. Make another dot down here where your wrist is. Can you see that dot? If you're worried that your egg is going to end up looking like a rhombus or a diamond, you can make another kind of fat dot out here. Thinking fat, right? You want to think fat. If you're worried you're not going to draw it right, take your finger and trace it for a while. Just do this first. Imagine an egg shape in your head and kind of practice with your finger. Once you practice with your finger, take your pen and just draw an egg shape, connecting all your dots. This is a way to do it if you don't have scissors, you don't want to cut a pattern. And it does not have to be perfect. There, now you have an egg that you can use. I'll tell you my preferred way though, if you can do it. And you do have one of these in your house, this is really like perfect for making a nice, stiff, heavy egg. And the great thing about it is you can both color on it and make an egg pattern with it. So I'm going to show you how I did it. Cut it in half. I'm going to use this part for the drawing part. And then a lot of kids have learned how to make a heart by folding something. And if you're making a heart, you only have to make half of it, right? It's the same thing with the egg. If you're worried you're going to do it too small, put a little mark. I want to go really close to there. And really close to the top, right? And I don't want a skinny egg. I want it pretty fat, maybe this fat. If you're worried, put some other dots in the middle. And now, believe it or not, you can draw it or you can just free ball it with your eye. This is what I'm going to cut. It's going to look a lot like a rainbow. And the good thing is I can cut it a little bit later to make it more egg-like. If you're nervous about it, you can draw it to look like an egg. Okay, I'm going to cut it. The great thing about this is once you did this, your whole family can make eggs together. And you have a pattern of an egg that you can follow. So here's my egg pattern. I could make an egg pattern. In my journal, I could make a bunch of them. I could draw one for me, and this is what I did. I drew one for me and for my daughter and for my husband, and I drew several different eggs on these because I had several folders. Okay, so I'm going to start. If you hardly have any materials and this is the only thing you have and all you have is a pen, you can do this. The whole idea is you're going to take your name. You're going to write your name in the egg. We did it when we did Valentine hearts. Your name is going to break up the space in the egg. So my name is Linda. I would go like this. I would do a long L from here to here. L, I, capital letters, right? N, here's an N. It's sideways. Here's a D. Here's an A. The point is not to read your name, but you use the L, I, N, D, A to make lines. Now, if you have nothing else to color with, you can just use a pen. And you decide how you want to decorate each space. The important thing is, see this as its own space. This is a space. And in this space, I've decided I'm just going to put 3 lines. And a little break, and then 3 more lines. They don't even have to be straight. Just do it all the way across. And I might think, okay, I really like those 3 lines, but what would happen if I followed this line and I went like this? What would that look like? And I might start liking that pattern. I'm going kind of fast. If I was going to make it really pretty, I probably would move a little slower. But I just made a pattern. And if this is the only thing you have, a pen, move on, make another shape. I think since I did lines here, I would move to some kind of circle. I love this little swirly thing. This is just a pen. And remember, I'm using this space right here. I'm thinking of it as a separate space. Again, if I were doing it, I'd go a little slower, but I'll go a little faster for you guys. Fill in this whole space. Once this whole space is filled in, I'll move forward and think of something else to do here. And maybe I would want to do some zigzags or something because I haven't done that yet. That is the easiest peasiest. And if you really like this, you can do it on any one of these. You can do it on this material too. And I'll show you. This is one that my daughter did. She only had a black Sharpie, nothing else. And her name is O-L-I-V-I-A. But when the whole pysanky egg is done, you can't really tell there was a name there unless you knew it was there. The idea is just to make great designs. So this and this are the same idea. She didn't use this kind of pen, she used a Sharpie. You could do that in your book. I would say if you're going to work in your book with a Sharpie or any other colors, you would want to put something underneath it because these pages do bleed through. Let's see, is that one page? Yeah, pretty thick, but that's one page. You might want to put some kind of paper underneath it because it will show on the other side. Now, if you only have your journal and this is the only thing you're doing, but you're lucky enough to have more than just a pen, maybe you have crayons or twistables. You could even start like this and then say, hey, I'm going to go back And I'm going to color this now. This is going to be orange. You don't have to color it. It looks really pretty if it's all black and white, but if you really wanted to, you could go back and color it. Of course, you don't want to use one color. You want to make it really interesting, use two colors. Add pink. And then you start to get colors. And it's okay to leave a little white of your page. You could go in here and color it too. Crayons are great. So this is my name again, Linda. I did not use any pen. As soon as I got to a space, I only used crayons. And I thought, how would I break this space up? I've done triangles, I've done rectangles and circles, squares. There's my favorite little swirl. This one I just did a sort of a wave. I do love this shape too. Let me show you. With crayons, it's hard to color on top of each other, but sometimes you can. So if I did this lightly yellow, not too hard. I'm going to do this space yellow. And remember, I'm just doing this part. Don't go over here, don't go over here. You gotta break up the space. I'm gonna go back and make a snowflake because this is one of my favorite shapes. It's just an X and a line and another line. X, line, line. X, line, line. X, line, line. Super simple, right? That's one of my favorite shapes. So on this one, I would want to look over now into this space and I would start thinking, what would I do with my crayons? If you're going to do stripes, you can kind of go like this and plan it first. And then maybe I would go back in and color a rainbow or something in between each stripe. But I'm not here, right? And more importantly, I did not pick up my color and just go, I'm going to make this whole thing blue. I'm going to make this whole thing orange. I'm going to make this whole thing yellow. I do see a lot of kids do that. When you do that, it looks pretty. It looks like this. All orange, all blue, all pink, all green. It's not that it looks bad, it's actually very pretty. But I feel like you can do a lot more with it. And that's the whole point of pysanky eggs, is that they are very ornate. So if you do happen to color the whole thing all one color and you change your mind later and you think, oh, I could probably do more, you can always go back. Take another color that's darker and just color on top of what you already did. And give it a little, what we call design or texture. And that's the point of pysanky eggs. They're pretty ornate. They've got a lot of design on them. I would switch colors. Here's blue. Think of something a little darker than blue. Let's go back to my swirl shape. With markers, the great thing is if you use one color on the bottom and you get a darker color, you can go on top. It's harder with crayons. Crayons don't like to color on top. Crayons like to color on the side of each other. So with a crayon one, you can decide, oh, this is green, this is orange, this is green, this is orange. You wouldn't color the whole thing orange and try to put green on top. So you have to think a little more with crayons, but it works because I did this yellow and I did the blue on top. So you have to experiment. Okay, I would say if you want to color each space one color, it is fine and will look pretty, but if you go back and add more interesting things, that's great. Also, if you're a one color kid, you just want to pick up one color and not have to think. Here's another great idea. This one, my daughter did. This one says Vincent. That's my son's name. And oh, here's a good thing to see. V-I-N. I made his C, and then I thought, oh no, I can't fit the rest of his name. Turn the egg. And I did E-N-T. I did that in yellow, because if I do it in yellow, when I'm coloring it, it kind of disappears into the pattern. So all of these I did with yellow. So here's Vincent's, and my daughter just wanted to use pink. But look, she made a design with pink. Then she just did blue. Just blue, no other color. But she did a design instead of coloring it solid. Just orange, just green, just purple, just pink. Then she started a little blue part here, and I could see she put a little green on top of that. So if you were going to move to this space, you can do a lot with just one color. Say I'm going to do this little space here. Since this space kind of looks like a heart, I'm going to go like this and turn it into a heart. And then maybe I'll just dot the inside. Dots are about the easiest thing you can do if you have a marker. Dots. Maybe stripe the outside. Stripes. Super easy. I always like to see patterns that repeat. That's just blue. I didn't change colors. So the main idea is you're going to take an egg shape of some kind. Hopefully you have some stiff fabric to do it on. This one is my husband's name. It's very long. R-A-Y. His name is Raymond. That's Ray. Here's his M. Ran out of room. Put his O-N-D over here. And then the idea is start on one spot. I'm going to start on this spot. Just decide what you want to do. You can do stripes, you can do anything you want. The easiest things are lines. I mean, a line is about as easy as it gets. And it will always look good. You want to make it fancier, you can go back and pick up another color for the inside. Let's do a light green. Might want to color carefully. The idea is just repeating patterns. That's what makes it a pysanky egg. All right, give it a try. I will say, when we are doing them in class, I give everybody the choice when they're done. Here, let me do a couple more parts on this. Say this had a stripe. The very last thing that they do on a pysanky egg is black. And if you want, you have to decide if you think it'll look good. You can take your black and you can go over the parts of your name. This one said L, I would completely blacken this down because that's the true color they add at the end. Then I had an N. This is my name. Here's my N. You want to do it at the very end, and you'll get an egg that looks like this. You don't want to do it before you colored, because when you go in with your markers and you try to color in the space, the black will show. It'll bleed into your colors. So color the whole thing first, and if you like the super strong black lines in it, add the black last, and then it's a true pysanky egg. You can also trace around. You really want it to have a border. And there we go. All right, I'm gonna lay these out. You have a lot of options. You can work with anything in your journal. You can work on cardstock. You can do just black. You can do crayon. You can do one color with patterns. You can do whatever you want when you're practicing it. And I'll put photos of these so that you can see them. All right, good luck. Enjoy making pysanky eggs, and someday I hope you get to see some real ones. They're very beautiful. They call them Ukrainian eggs, but you will see them in Russia. You see them in Croatia. I had a Croatian friend who used to make them. A lot of cultures will make them. They're very lovely. All right, good luck. Have fun.